I don't know. This is going to be exciting. I have no idea how these two teams are going to go back and forth. But let's get things started. Let's not keep the fans waiting any longer. Let's see what this first attack is going to look like. Oh, it's Cliffy Bobat from Noble Nines, a name we all know and love, been around in the scene forever. The clan name may say Noble Noobs, but don't kid yourself. There is nothing noob about this team.
Oh, they like to be deceptive, I guess. And when we're looking at this attack strategy, you're going to notice it's an attack we've seen before. It's that hybrid strategy, which we know is meta right now. And meta means something that works in the current state of the game. And that goes for any game. And the Queen Walk is going to be going around the outside. There is a super wall breaker, which could break her in at some point. But she's going to be dealing with that single target Inferno Tower, which is frozen right there. The poison spell is dropped on top of those witches, which is really important. The Queen can be taken down very easily when there's a witch upon her. But another nice free spell on the Inferno. I mean, there's really no choice. He has to utilize those free spells, or else the Queen is going to go down or have to use her ability. Rage spell, the Queen is going to have to pop the ability, and the giant bomb goes off as well on that Queen, beating her up a little bit. Now she's got a scatter and a Skeleton King right there across the wall.
Oh my goodness, those healers are in such rough shape. They just need to live a little bit longer. Just keep the Queen in the fight, healers. You can do it. Because the rest of this attack is going in now. The RC is going to be in play, helping out, supporting all these hogs and crew that are pushing on in. You need to take down that town hall. The attacking Queen finally will fall, but the bulk of the attack is now here with this hybrid strategy going to be doing its work onto this town hall. But that Eternal Tome is just barely in play long enough to avoid that Giga Bomb damage. That was absolutely huge. And now with chaining heal spells, Cliffy Bobat looking in pretty good shape.
Yeah, he's looking pretty nice. The miners and those hogs are pathing fairly well through the base. A nice heal spell on top of the Inferno Tower and that scatter shot. They're trying to take down the Eagle Artillery, but they're dealing with a whole bunch of mess there that's keeping them from it. Now they're on the scatter. The Raw Champion's ability is being used to soften up that scatter shot, and now she pushes through the final defense, but the Hog Riders are no longer with her. It looks like there's just a couple of wizards, or let's make that, yeah, 2 wizards left on the outside. They're going to clean up a little bit of percentage, but it looks like that is the end of the road for Cliffy Bobat. Looks like just those 2 super wizards there. Going to get as much percentage as they possibly can.
They're going to have to be superheroes. They're going to need to... Okay, that's good. Okay, never mind. Oh, my goodness. Oh, there's another one down there. Right at the bottom there as well. There's 3 wizards. There were 3. Now there's just 1.
Oh,
now
there's an archer hiding down there. There she goes.
Down there at the bottom. The archer? Can't tell. Okay.
Yep, it's an archer.
Right. There we go.
Pink head.
There
and
she
she's not going to be able to get that drill, unfortunately. So we're going to be settling at a 75% 2-star for Noble Nines. Cliffy Bobat. How does he feel with that? A 75% 2-star back in the day used to be something you could kind of feel comfortable with, but is that going to be settling right now in Season 5?
Given that we are seeing multiple wars finishing with above 90% wars, no, I probably don't think so. 75% is good. It's decent. It's fine. That's you're sitting around 75%, then you go on YouTube and you pull up like an Echo or a Carbon Fin on YouTube and you look at strats and how to get better at the game. That's about the point where you're there. You know what I mean? I feel like we need to see post-educational levels of attacking here. I feel like we need to see the next level, the next point to step up. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm not at all. 75 is good. Just dealing with good defenses. But we're going to need to see some 3-star hits because today has been very 3-star light. We have seen wars with 6 3-stars in them, Echo. I need to see these teams step up. Let's go.
I know, and we may. I mean, it's early on. That was 1 attack out of 10. There's many more to go. Everything else could be a 3-star here. We don't yet know. And we have Kojak coming in from OldFolksHome. We don't know much about OldFolksHome, so we're about to see what they are all about right now. Coming in with the Yeti Smash. Quadquake yet again, going to entirely gape the center of that base. It's going to open up so many compartments. Let's see where he's deciding to come in on this attack. It looks like things are starting up north with some Yeti leading the way. I love those Yeti because they'll attack anything, but then their Yetimite will jump and go attack those defenses. That can be really frustrating. And notice he put in a couple of those sneaky goblins as well behind the Yeti to help out take down those structures just a little bit more quickly. And now the Barbarian King enters the base, makes his presence known, and is about to start beating on some skeletons.
Oh, yes. We are having the P.E.K.K.A. coming in as well at that east position. trying to continue to set the funnel, but the rest of the troops are coming in. I was going to say maybe a little bit too early, but I would have been speaking too soon, as this funnel is looking really darn solid. There's the quad quake that you're talking about, just whacking on everything there in the middle of this base, needing to take down that town hall. That is the key structure. There is the first star achieved from Kojak, who's going on in, going to find the Eagle artillery as well. Those are two of the key structures that need to be dealt with. But I'm looking at that scatter shot. I'm looking at the freeze spell. Okay, Iron Crew. Okay, all right. Things are getting exciting here, Echo.
Yeah, it looks like Kojak has a plan for this attack, and he's actually doing a nice job, but he's continuing to freeze that scatter shot because his troops did not go for the scatter, but the Grand Warden turned up clutch right there. Looks like he got a shot on it to take it down, but notice the jump spell is not being used yet. It's only going to be used by the Queen and that Warden as they move on over. Everything else is going around the outside of the base. The Royal Champion, though, has those healers, and that could be extremely valuable if she can push on through. Now we have a single target Inferno Tower. She's getting struck by it. The Grand Warden helps out. The skeletons are there to slow things down. Is there enough left in this attack? Oh my goodness, those healers are fighting as hard as they can. The skeletons really slow down that champion, but the extra healer left to the Warden is helping to keep that champion up. She only has to deal with 2 Tesla, 1 cannon. There's a minute left. Will she have enough time? Will she have enough strength? Will she get through it? I don't know. It looks like she may.
I am leaning towards yes. I think the high damage per second, the DPS going to be brought to bear by this Royal Champion will be enough. And at 93%, those healers went absolutely clutch, and this Royal Champion did not stop. What did I ask for before this attack started, Echo? What was it?
I believe you asked for a 3-star in Verum. I believe that's what you said.
Gosh, look at that. Ask and ye shall receive. I love to see it. Kojak 3 from OldFolksHome starting us off strong once again. Back-to-back wars with an opening salvo in the first 2 hits. A 3-star now, which means Noble Nines is on the back step. Oh my goodness. That's what you like to see. Just textbook. Just started the funnel, pushed on in, used your spell as well, had the jump spell, up round out the end of that, and everything looked good.
It seems so simple when you put it that way, but when you try it, it's so not that simple. But OldFolksHome showing what they're all about right there. They have that 3-star potential starting off this war. Perfect. But can they finish it off? Can they continue with that much strength and that much power to put down Noble Nines, a name that we've seen here before? We've seen it done in other wars tonight. Is it going to happen here?
Yeah, we're going to find out. This is attack number 2 and is Aska. I've made some sort of ask you a question pun every single time. So I'm just going to keep doing it because, why not? It's tradition at this point.
You got to keep with the traditions, man. It's just the right thing to do. You become known for those types of things. And the Queen is starting over there in the western side of the base. We have it looks like an ice golem went down to freeze some things up, and now the clan castle lore has been a success. Ice golem, we're seeing a lot of ice golem witch clan castles. They seem to be the way to go on the defensive clan castle front. Queen's going to deal with that now. She is being targeted by that Grand Warden pedestal. I've seen that pedestal cause some problems, and it looks like Aska has as well because he's sending a balloon in there to try and take it down. Maybe just try and protect his healers as well. I'm not sure. Either way, looks like he had some concern about that pedestal because he had to drop the freeze as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was close. The Queen just going clutch to protect those healers there at the end as well. Going to see the Queen surviving through this, though. Might have to use the Royal Cloak. Oh man, kind of hate to see it, but still, that is going to be the opening bit from this attack here. Going to be creating a lot of space by taking down the CC. Wow, the Queen those healers just tried their best, but it was not enough. My goodness, that is a very early Grand Warden ability as well. They're not going to have that pushing into the rest of this base. That's only the 1st star achieved here, and there's still a lot of base to go, and I'm checked. I'm not missing any bat spells this time. This is all they got.
No bats in this one, and I'm telling you, I've seen bases similar to this where they'll stack one corner of the base with the town hall, lure you in to try and grab that easy town hall, but it's really tough to push through it because the defenses are just so insane with heroes there, traps there, clan castles there. It's tough to push through. Aska tried his best to get through that portion of the base, and now does have some Hog Riders running around the outside and healers with the Hog Riders running down towards the south. So looks like the Queen's gone. The healers are literally spread over all the troops in this attack. They're all over the place.
I mean, you know what? They decided it was time. We just needed to go our separate ways. We were great as a band. It's like, I don't know, like the Beatles, I guess. They're just like, hey, there's these four memorable all-stars who now need to go and try and do their own thing. But hey, what can you do? Sometimes just I should have thought of a better example than the Beatles. And being honest, my classic rock. It's fine.
These kids know the Beatles still. Everyone knows the Beatles, I think. But look at this.
Actually, for the age of our audience, that's actually probably a great reference to use because everybody knows the Beatles and everybody knows this attack is looking pretty darn solid. Anybody with eyeballs who's watching this because there are quite a few minors left, and that's above 90%. I think we're going to see another 3-star hit here from Aska. I asked for 3 stars, and Aska's delivering.
It just sounds so good when you say that. It looks like he's going to deliver, unless if time is an issue, but it looks fairly safe. I say fairly because you never do know, but I will tell you, we were doubting that attack towards the beginning. It took forever to get through that western side of the base. Every trap, hero, clan, castle was there beating on that queen. She stuck it out as long as she could, and then the healers decided to spread, break up the band, and support the rest of the attack.
And it worked out really darn well. The miners were there at the end to clean up all those structures on the outside, just have the ability to get where they needed to be, not worrying about all those pesky walls. And the Grand Warden and healers are there to support them doing what they do well with that bonus HP and the life lore and everything there. That was a really solid comeback there from Noble Nines, definitely making up for that just okay first attack, which now puts the pressure back on OldFolksHome. They need to continue to deliver. Let's see if they can in attack number 2. This war is still young, and I cannot wait to see what new strategies they're bringing out.
Yeah, it's easy. Just replicate the first attack. Another 3-star, and you're in good hands, right? I mean, OldFolksHome knows that, and Army Devils is about to try and do the same thing. And it's another one of those Yeti Smash. Again, we're seeing the Quad Quake, a handful of freeze spells, and, well, a base that, who knows, it could have tricks up its sleeve as we've seen happen throughout the night tonight.
Yeah, we've been seeing quite a different varieties of bases coming in there as well. Twitch chat's informing me that there's apparently a very straightforward way to take down that last base, and it was executed flawlessly. So there you go. You just got to do your research on the internet, guys, and even you can be walking away with epic 3-star hits. We're learning things every single day, and I don't need to learn too much to know that this queen is going to be looking to go right on in towards that town hall here, setting the funnel beautifully with that king, and this is going to be the start of an awesome hit here from Army Devils from OldFolksHome. Queen just needs to go where she's meant to be going, and there we are.
Yep, and that's being done really well. And you know what? The chat always has great things to say. You could learn so much from reading through the chat as well. So I'm really glad they're engaging in this event as well. And Queen luring that clan castle. I always worry about this composition. You have the Lava Hound. You have usually the Lava Hound will pop. Then the Queen's going to target that Ice Golem and freeze, and then you're going to have Lava Pups attacking. This is one of the scariest, in my opinion, clan castles to have to deal with. But we have Yeti coming in with boulders from the top end of the base. Look at this. We have the Siege Barrack coming in later, keeping it protected. That was a tip that Carbon shared with us earlier. Really great tip for players that didn't know about that. Keep it protected. Don't let it get targeted by defenses. You get more wizards. You get more value. The Queen is struggling hard, but she does go down. Oh, there's just too many defenses targeting her. Grand Warden's aura is an ability. I mean, the troops, they decided to not go for the core of the base. We have the champion in the core popping her ability, taking down the enemy Queen, but everything is walking around. What is going on here? I guess the Quad Quake is not getting the value that Army Devils wanted.
Yeah, that was just a little bit unfortunate, just not quite able to rally the troops to get right into the core of this base. They're taking the long road around the outside. You need to take down that scatter shot, need to take down some of these key defenses. Finally, we're going to see them go down, but I think the damage has been done at this point, or hasn't been done at this point, which is more of the bigger issue. We are seeing a little bit of cleanup still around the outside, but that's going to get cut short, and it seems to be like trading blows back and forth. We saw 75% 2-star to start things off, and then a 3-star in response. Then we saw a 3-star, and we might see something close to a 75 here once again, which means we're pretty much going to be dead even in terms of stars and percentage after the end of this hit here. Noble Nines and OldFolksHome trading blows back and forth. I mean, that's what I like to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes for a good war, and it's actually a 74%, so that's actually the tables turning a very little bit right here, but still, again, an amazing close war. And those troops, and that's the problem with Quad Quake sometimes, and I love Quad Quake, but if you utilize it and your troops don't go in that direction, you lose that value.
Yeah, I mean, again, though, at least you're doing the damage. If you're taking jump spells instead, at least you're knocking down smalls, you're damaging the structures inside. So you're getting a little bit more out of it. Again, ideal world is still that your troops, I don't know, use the path that you create for them.
Yeah.
Still, sometimes what can you do? The computer going to do what it going to do. Let's get back though over with Noble Nines and see if they can keep this 3-star the 3-star train alive. We'll go with that one as we now have His Loves Tacos up there. I like that name. I like
His
tacos
loves
too,
tacos.
man.
I like that too. And I haven't had good tacos in a while being stuck in my house here in New York. But this attack, notice the hero potion being used right now, making those heroes max level, nice and strong. That's going to help out the attack for sure. Starting off with that Warden walk, and let's see if the Warden actually goes in the right direction for the rest of this smash attack to go down. The King looks like he's battling with the enemy King over there on the southwestern side, and the Warden just continuing to solo defenses and structures, creating that funnel. And yeah,
looking good. Looking. Yeah. I mean, this is how we're used to starting our attacks. You just drop everything in. You've got your Grand Warden walk. You can have your Yetis to rally the troops to bring everybody back together. You can go in with your kill squad. You're gonna start things off. Continue on with the Queen to break through that wall. You're gonna rage. You're gonna find your way towards the town hall. You're gonna pop your Grand Warden Eternal Tome, and that should be the game plan. Things should be looking pretty good. Let's see if we follow the script here. We'll see if things maybe derail a little bit. We are seeing that blimp heading straight in towards that town hall. It did get activated fairly early, which means that Giga Inferno did come into play maybe a little bit sooner than they intended, which meant we needed to see an early Grand Warden Eternal Tome, which means that Giga Bomb actually did a whole lot off the back of that. So things not quite lining up absolutely perfect in terms of timing.
No, but a little surprise in this attack there are 6 bat spells that are going to be used in the back end. 6 spells that are not typically with this strategy. Royal Champion just being dropped in now. What they want to do is get that scatter shot, but she is taking her time getting through that Inferno Tower. Will she be able to take down the scatter shot, which will be devastating for bat spells, and it looks like she's going to struggle through that one. Oh, she does not get it down. They're going to need to burn a freeze right there. And I think that scatter shot is going to beat up on those bats.
Oh,
and if
my
not,
goodness.
the Wizard Tower is.
Yeah, I mean, so one freeze was used early to help support the Royal Champion, and then they had to burn the freeze to try and get the bats around to deal with that. And then they burned another freeze on the Eagle.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. No, that's sort of the risk reward when it comes to utilizing these bats. That's just not ideal. That's 59%. And that is going to be all she wrote here for Tiz Loves Tacos and Noble Nines. Oof. Well, I think this is probably the weakest attack we've seen so far today.
It may be. It was not taking advantage of that very small lead that they had, but that's the problem with bat spells. They're very delicate, and if everything doesn't go perfectly with your kill squad with phase 1, and you have to rely too heavily on the bats on the back end, there just were not enough freeze spells in the composition to freeze the scatter shot and 2 more wizard towers with nothing to tank them. So at the end of the day, that champion didn't take down the scatter, and that was the plan. So I think that's where things fell apart for Tacos.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I think freezes and 5 or 6 bat spells is usually what we tend to see with these sort of compositions, or when they're added to these sort of compositions in this case. But I agree. It wasn't necessarily that particular combo wasn't executed. It was that the pieces, the dominoes that needed to fall in place before that could come in just didn't quite line up. I think he was either deciding to use the bats a little bit earlier to allow the champion to tank for them, or just lining things up a little bit better so that the champion could take down the buildings that she needed to. Just things could go a little bit differently here. But again, there's so much nuance in these attacks. It's hard to find the exact moment where it's like, we can try and pinpick and nitpick what we think maybe got a little bit different, but really there were so many factors going on there. Either way, 62%, not ideal, but Noble Nines not out of this yet by any means. Let's see if OldFolksHome put up some better numbers here. This has been a slugfest back and forth as we get into attack number 6.
And I have to applaud the creativity of that attack. It's not typically what you see. So I like people trying different off-meta strategies, and that was a perfect example of that, although it didn't do as well as the attacker would have liked. But here, coming in with Drag Bat, and we're seeing a surprisingly large number of bat attack strategies throughout the night tonight, more than I had anticipated. I asked for Electro Dragons earlier. I have yet to see them. Maybe later on. I'm not sure. I would really like to, though. We'll see if my wishes come true. And notice there are no healers on this attack. This queen is going in solo. Will she be able to take down that town hall? She's got that double cannon there, and that could be a problem for her for sure. King is setting a funnel up in the west, and the queen, she's trying to make her way in there to beat down on that town hall, lower the clan castle. I'm not sure what she's planning on doing because she just took a giant bomb, and that's going to take her down big time. Will she secure the town hall? Wow.
Yeah.
Just got it done. And little lucky, little clutch, maybe a little bit of both. I'm not sure, but she was able to get the town hall, securing the 1-star for OldFolksHome.
And this is actually huge. This is massive because what this allows you to do now is you just don't have to worry about that star. You can just write that star off like, good, I've got it. It's in the books. I can now, focus the rest of this attack to just do maximum damage. I don't have to hold anything back. I don't have to save anything. I don't have to throw a clutch royal champion in or a blimp or something in to maybe deal with a town hall that I didn't get earlier. The job has been done. Now your job, Echo, is just destruction.
Straight up destruction. And that Grand Warden's ability making everything, all of that power going through the base invincible. But no matter how much power you have, an air sweeper can mess everything up. And look at these dragons and balloons getting pushed backward time and time again, which is just allowing them to get struck more and more by that Royal Champion and by the Eagle Artillery. Scattershot, not the Scattershot, the Stone Slammer is still up. It's not a siege unit we see used as often lately. 2 freeze spells left in the composition, but that is all. And it's for the bats, which are coming in from the northern side of the base. Hopefully they can push through, but oh my goodness, it looks like...
No.
Where did all the bat spells go?
Oh, that was an Inferno and the freeze and everything was there. And it should have been great, but the bats just couldn't quite do it.
And this is what we talk about, how fragile those bat spells are. You need to be perfect with deployment. Everything needs to go perfectly. And when it does, it makes it look like bat spells are the best thing inside of Clash of Clans. It makes everyone go and train up their new army with their bat spell army. And then they realize that it's not easy to do, and it only has some of the best players with the best planning that can actually execute these bat attacks. So props to the people that can get it done, because it is not easy. But we still have a high percentage here out of OldFolksHome, pulling in, still trying to keep that advantage over Noble Nines. It looks like they're going to be able to do that at least.
The core, here's the thing. The core fundamentals for OldFolksHome has been spot on. There's been some tiny things that maybe just haven't quite gone their way generally. But overall, these attacks have been really darn solid. They've been well executed. Just considering, you guys have to remember, they have no time to plan this. There's very little time to scout these bases. They don't know what the trap steps are. They only get 1 attack each. It's you don't get chances to try again. You go in, you do your best, and that's it. And again, the fact that they're able to maintain 90, 100, 74%, these are really good, solid attacks. They're now up 9% over their opponents at the halfway mark. So that's pretty darn impressive here from OldFolksHome. Both teams have tripled. They've shown that they can do that. They've shown that their opponent can bleed in that regard. There is an opening in the armor. So that's just making this even more exciting. Carbon Fin, I need to welcome you back here at our halfway point. Is there one attack here that really stood out to you? What were you thinking looking at this? Was there one attack that really caught your eye?
Well, so far in this war, like you mentioned, there are the 2 triples. But the biggest thing that I've been seeing from these bases, defending-wise, a lot of them I've seen before, in Legends League, or so they're some common bases. So it might be the fact that if they've seen them before, if they've gone off against them, maybe one team might have the advantage. But, with the percent advantage, OldFolksHome is looking pretty good. But I'm just curious what are the other bases that are going to be coming through, because I've seen quite a few common ones so far.
Yeah, there's a lot of these really strong bases going around online. You can just copy them. You can utilize them yourself. People have already put the time and the work into sort of developing these. And it looks like that may be coming in a little bit for both of these squads. But again, the issue with that then is if you're facing on a base you faced before, then you know what you should be looking to do. So we'll see if that continues or if we're going to see some unique builds, unique strats. Let's get into it. Thank you so much, Carbon, for our mid-match check-in. And let's get into this next attack. Echo, let's get into things.
Let's get into things. And here we go with the Electro Dragons. I told you I wanted to see these strategies. Now let's see if Noble Nines can get it done with the Electro Dragons. My day has been made. I don't know why I suddenly have this love for E-Drags, but it's just I think it's because I haven't seen it much, but we have them literally all just being dropped in. Get the queen setting a very small funnel, drop in the king, and go all in with E-Drags, storming into the base. The blimp is there in case they need to go back end that town hall, not worrying about the clan castle, which has witches and can really slow down those Electro Dragons. Here comes the blimp. We have 1 rage, 2 more freeze spells left in the composition. It looks like we're going to easily be able to grab the 2-star as long as that blimp does its job, and the E-Drags are there to support it as well. Now the Royal Champion's coming in from the north, going to head her way down east, but the E-Drags, they're actually going down a little bit in the core. They're taking some serious fire, and, well, they're not pushing through the base the way I would have liked to see.
I mean, you got 51%. There you go. You got that 2nd star, but oh my goodness. First of all, that was a very early Grand Warden ability. I understand like wanting to utilize it. You have 9 seconds of invulnerability when it's maxed out. That's a long time. That's a lot of time to work with. And I understand wanting to use it when all your troops are still clumped up together, but at the same time, you were soaking up that initial salvo. You soaked up an eagle artillery shot or 2 eagle artillery shots, but I don't know. The rest of that attack, those troops fell apart really darn quickly once they got in there, and as much as I appreciate the brute force methodology of this, I just maybe the finesse wasn't quite where it needed to be. Clearly, it wasn't, because that's 60% is the only thing that's up on the board right now.
Well, there was no finesse in that. It was a drop them in and try and overpower the base, which is fine. And I've seen lately in a lot of the leagues and wars that are going on, we've been seeing some really well thought out Electro Dragon attack strategies that have been amazing. And, you know, sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's how you plan it. Sometimes it's the base you're going against. But I'll tell you what, this Electro Dragon can get some good value with some Chain Lightning here, picking up more percentage, making it a little bit higher than we would anticipate from this attack that didn't go so well, never actually made it to the core. But these E-Drags, they are really slow, and it's going to take a while either way. What I do love watching are the lights light up on the back of that E-Drag. And, you know, once that top spike is lit, it attacks. I think it's the coolest feature of the Electro Dragon in the game.
So that's a lot of fun. Yeah. I mean, look, I like the RNG element of the E-Drag. I like the random effect of where the lightning bolts go down and where the chain lightning goes. I think that's super cool. I like that because it just, as a caster, you know, you want to see these really exciting, intense moments, and they just tend to add to that. But either way, that was a fine attack. It ended up getting a lot more percentage than I thought it was going to. We saw only a couple of troops left at like 52%, and I was like, okay. But he ended up getting it up to 71 there in the end, so not bad for Noble Knights. However, when your opponent's sitting at 88% average, you at least need to get 88%. You want to be adding a net positive value to the team. And the fact that we're now looking at a place where it looks like only a 3-star will be the difference maker here. OldFolksHome would really need to stumble in this next attack for things to not go their way.
Yeah, they would have to stumble, and I guess we're going to see pretty soon if they do or don't. I mean, a clutch triple or a high percentage 2-star right here is exactly what they're looking for. I wonder what strategy they're going to bring, and, well, now I know. Coming in with another one of those Yeti Bowler attacks, and this has been one of the more common ones we've seen. So we've seen... Actually, tonight we've seen a lot of the hybrid, we've seen a lot of this strategy, and we've seen quite a surprising amount of the drag bat. Now, Carbon made a good point earlier when he chimed in after our 6th attack that we are seeing a lot of bases that we have seen before. And if you're a Legends League attacker in Clash of Clans, you have your 8 attacks per day, and you often come across the same bases. There are some base designs that really work well, and you just see them a lot because everyone wants to use them. And it's surprising to me to see at this level that we have so many bases that maybe they're not exactly the same, but they're similar, maybe modifications of that. Well, stop talking about bases, Echo, and let's actually look at this attack that's smashing, because they just opened up the base and is completely coring it out right now with the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome ability, trying to get through that Royal Champion and Scattershot.
Yeah, but he needs to get through this Town Hall as well, because that Giga Inferno is just melting things right now. Somebody's got to target it. Hello, team. Yeah. Hang a left. Just a left.
Oh, Queen.
Left. Thank you. Woo,
Queen.
Oh. Sometimes you do crazy things, Queen, but today you done good. You did real good, kid. As we are.
She did what she needed to do.
She got it done. Look, and the Royal Champion's out there on the outside doing what Royal Champions do best, which is going for the flank. However,
that was not what OldFolksHome was looking for.
Smurfs? Not smurfing this time. So it's not. No. Okay. All right. Well,
we should be getting up to a 60%.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly not the percentage they were looking for to kind of clutch and you know, hold down this war. Opening up the door for Noble Nines to come back and possibly put themselves in range of a win. We're going to see. I want to look at those numbers when we get back to the screen and see what this actually looks like. But I could tell you now, Smurfs is not happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, He's going blue in the face, and it's not because of these smarts, because that attack just kind of got choked out. Honestly, it just went right into the core. Town Hall lived for so long, did so much damage. People underestimate the damage that Giga Inferno. It can just really go off. And overall, just I don't necessarily think it was a huge flaw in execution. I just think that when the chaos is in full swing and things go to the center of the space, also he held onto a free spill too long, and that was probably a misplay. It was a misplay. But
I'll tell you, yeah. He's lucky that Queen turned around and clutched the Town Hall, because that was close. Yeah. And it was good that you got me off my little rant about bases and pointed that out. So thank you.
No, sometimes there's a point where I really want to make this point. The attacks just sort of go off on their own, because oftentimes we see a good 30 to 45 seconds of funnel creation at the start of a lot of these attacks. And these last ones have just been really frenetic, and the pace has been really high here. But with that 62%, that gave Noble Lions a chance. That gave them an opportunity, an opening to try and get back in this. Only 4.5% separating these two teams right now, which means that it is truly anyone's game. They are tied in terms of stars. They are close in terms of percentage. So let's get in to these final two attacks. Can Noble Lions clutch it up? They were down early on. They need to rally here. My Precious from Noble Lions. Let's see if he doesn't get tossed. Spoilers. Let's see if he doesn't get tossed off a cliff into the fires of Mount Doom. Let's see if he instead can rally, claim this one for his own.
Yes, I like the sound of all that. And I'll tell you, this is a different base than we've seen. We have a donut style base with island compartments in it as well. Exterior type not town hall, clan castle. Luring the clan castle, noticing there's witches, ice golem. The base is spread out fairly well. It's one of those symmetrical looking bases, the ones that you typically like and think are pretty. But a base like this is something that's going to personally mess me up. My troops will walk completely around this base because I won't funnel the center properly. It happens to me all the time, and we're going to see if my Precious is going to fall victim of that as well. These types of bases are the kinds that can have you end up with that high percentage 1-star, and that is the last thing that Noble Noobs needs right now, Noble Nines needs right now.
No, they just need my Precious to just go off in this attack. And here's the slower funnel start that we're seeing. Good poison usage there to keep this Queen alive, and nice preemptive rage there just to make sure this Queen is fully topped up going into these Inferno Towers and the rest of these defenses. This is actually going to be pretty clutch. And the freezes even committed here. Wow, a lot of resources actually committed to this Queen charge here. Now that I'm looking at it, that rage may not have 100% have been needed, at least in tandem with that freeze. We'll see if that comes back to haunt him later.
Well, I'm happy to see that the Queen charge is still going, because we have seen a few times tonight where the Queen charges failed and that ruined the attack. I want to see this Queen charge deep into the base. We have one more rage spell being used right now. Actually, there's one more from the CC composition as well. She's going to make her way around the base. It looks like there's a blimp as well, which could be what's used to clutch the Town Hall. But I always worry about those scatter shots, because they could just be throwing rocks at those troops. But here we go. I hear you about to say something. What do you see happening?
We gotta go. We got like a little over a minute left on the clock. Normally a minute 30 is just throwing in the hybrids, just throwing in the miners, the hogs. You gotta go at some point though. You just got to get those troops in there, because this is how time fails happen. We need to get these troops in play. They finally are, but I'm wondering now, Echo, is it too little too late? Let's see if my Precious can prove me wrong. Let's see if he timed this perfectly, beautifully, if he had just enough finesse to get these troops where they need to go. The buildings are falling one after the other. It's like watching dominoes, but let's see if the time is there to get this attack done.
Yeah, and for the sake of Noble Nines, I hope you are wrong. Here comes that battle blimp. One of the scatters has been taken out. This is typically what happens. The troops will walk completely around the base. Now he is hoping that this blimp can take down whatever that Town Hall has to offer. And it looks like the scatter shot through. Oh, we have a dragon. Okay, it did go down. That was tough to see for me for a moment, but we did get it down. The 2-star has been secured, and now will this kill squad have enough? It looks like they won't have enough time.
Yeah, that's with only 15 seconds left on the clock. I think there might be enough troops. Maybe it would have come down to the troops to get it done, but I'm not even sure. We still have a decent amount left around the outside trying to clean this up, but with only a few seconds left, no, definitely not. I'm not even sure they would have had enough firepower to get through this. Still a decent attack, a solid attack, 83%. It brought them up. It was above where your opponent was. But going into this now, if you're a Noble Nines fan, you now have to rely on OldFolksHome to mess up. Going into this final attack, you are not ahead in terms of percentage. I needed to see a 3-star or a high 90s. That was the only way That's the only way that they could have gotten back. Because right now, if you're Old Folks Home, you just need 66%. 66% two-star, and you walk away with the victory. I have CarbonFin in my ear feeding me this number. Thank you so much, CarbonFin, supporting us from behind the scenes. So I'm not going to talk any longer. Echo, get us into this final attack. It all comes down to this, 66% or bust. Who's going to face Tribe Gaming in the lower bracket? We're about to find out.
Well, if Old Folks Home doesn't make a mistake, it should be them, but you never know. They do have a 62% in their log from this war, so it's low percentages have happened before. Coming in with the Yeti Boulder attack again, and check it out, the Octoquake. Your troops had better go down the right path when you're investing 8 Earthquake spells to completely open up this base. Take your time, set the funnel properly, and he is doing that, utilizing the Siege Barrack to completely funnel down the southern side of the base, and what looks like the Warden to take care of everything over there in the east. Here we go. Yetis are coming in. Boulders are going to go in behind, and we want to see everything dive straight for that town hall, straight for that clan castle. Grand Warden joining up with that army, ready to just tear down anything in its path. I love the Octoquake, but there's one problem, and that is you don't have a lot more spells for support. Usually it's going to be 1 Rage, 1 Poison, and 1 Heal spell. And, well, that's exactly all he has left. Will he be able to push on through? The Scatter Shot goes down, which is very important. The Eagle Artillery, which is your most feared defense in Verum, is still up, but they're closing in.
They are closing in on that key defense. It did get off another salvo, though, before it went down. Before it is going to go down here at some point. Oh my goodness, every single time those big old eagle shots fall, it just feels so bad to watch those health bars tick away. 66%, that's the number here. I don't need a triple, I don't need 100, I just need 2 numbers that are the same number, and it's 66. That's all you need to do. Full-blown Alki, I need you to just step right on up right now. If you are a fan of Old Folks Home, if you are a fan of Verum's predictions being right, go for it. Hashtag no bias. As we are pushing on in, we still have this Royal Cloak ability, and with that, I think they're going to be able to seal the deal. I think there are going to be enough of these structures still in range to get that 66%. The Queen's going to take us right over the edge, and that is going to be full-blown Alki clutching it up for Old Folks Home, representing for all those Old Folks Home people out there. I see you in chat. Do it up. Celebrate. Spam some emotes. Have some fun. Woohoo!
I'll tell you what, though, he didn't crush it too much beyond that 66%. It was pretty close. He's sitting at the 70% right now. So if Carbon's numbers are right, which I trust him very much on his mathematics, it looks like Old Folks Home was able to pull in the victory on this one. That's going to send Noble Nines down to face Tribe, correct?
That is correct. You got it. In our final match of the day in the round of 16 lower bracket, the loser of this next match doesn't have a shot at redemption. They don't have a chance to come back next week. They're just done. The last 2 months of competition, 6 weeks in the open qualifiers and the closed qualifiers, all for naught. Dreams dashed on day number 1. Oh my goodness. And with 71% for full-blown Alki, I believe that will be enough. And it is just barely. Well, you didn't leave yourself much to work with there. Full-blown Alki, you just barely did it. Just barely did it. 79.4%. As I lean into the microphone there to really make sure you get that on there. But look at this. Oh my goodness. Wow. It really doesn't get much closer than that, Echo.
No, we've had some close wars, which means we've had some exciting wars, which means everyone's staying tuned and not leaving the screen because they know more excitement is to come. I mean, these are the best type of wars. I love it when they're close.
Absolutely. And, again, Noble Nines, a veteran squad here in terms of ESL Mobile Open competition, is now forced down to the lower bracket to take on not only a veteran, but a champion here in the ESL Mobile Open and try to get, oh my goodness, things are getting intense. CarbonFin, come back in and walk us through, please, with our Xperia highlight from that last one. Which attack do you want to look at here?
We definitely should take a look at that 1 triple from Old Folks Home that kicked off the war for them. And that was absolutely, we'll take a look at that 3-star, but I mean, the percentage there was just barely enough to advance here in the upper bracket. But we're jumping straight into this replay right here of coming in with the Yeti Smash with the boulders here. And let's take a look at the base here. I did remember there was a tornado trap when we look at later in the raid that was over towards 3 o'clock. And we'll notice that is over on the outside because he was probably planning for a blimp entry there, and that is exactly not what happened here. So there was no tornado trap inside the core of this base, and he's using some of these Yetis to help set the funnel on the top side, and it's just going to be pretty simple. Send the Yetis there, and then send all the troops right down into the core, into the town hall. Looks like we got the king, the king of the Yetis right into here, and then there is the siege barracks. So it's not going to be using the blimp, and then you will see that come later in the raid, which will be activating the tornado trap, which you'll see down there. And then here goes the Yetis, the warden, the balloons, and testing for those seeking air mines. And some of these bowlers are making their way over to the archer tower here on the right side, but there's the quad quake. We're looking at what it opens up is the town hall, the eagle. The queen can then reach over the wall and grab the scatter, the expos, literally everything of value. And then there is the jump to connect that back inside there. But the biggest thing that you have to take note is the royal champion does get locked up on the lava hound pups for quite a little bit there, but she was still able to move around with the healers. And it was just one of those attacks where you're just kind of overwhelming the core here. And these attacks can turn into the 3 stars if you could get the healer transfer off sometimes onto those Yetis, moving your way through. And then the queen kind of just used the jump with her ability, and the royal champion, as long as you keep her alive on the outside as she moves through, you can get the base down with the triple, and that's exactly what Kojak did here. Queen burns her ability. The biggest threat remaining is that single, but it goes down, which leads to the triple here. So very nice job getting at least the safe 2, which turns into the triple.
Really solid play there from start to finish. That was just an awesome play by Kojak, as we can just wrap this one up. The rest is history. These last 15% in the books, keeping that royal champion alive. You absolutely nailed it, Carbon. That was the difference maker here, and really showed just these small interactions, keeping those healers alive, keeping those heroes alive. Healers and heroes do a big difference to secure those triples. Awesome attacks there. Awesome war. OldFolksHome will be advancing to our upper bracket round of 16. And we are going to see, unfortunately, an epic, well, I guess unfortunately, an epic matchup in our lower bracket round of 16 there. But before we get to that, before we jump onto a break, I need to give a big shout out to Sony Mobile for joining us as the official mobile partner for the ESL Mobile Open Season 5 playoffs with their Xperia 1. I've now had the opportunity to use this phone quite a bit over the last few months, and I have to say I've been super impressed, especially looking at it as a phone for gaming. Because it's interesting, because like a lot of people think about Sony, they don't always necessarily think about phones. Think about like this camera that I'm shooting this on right now, which looks amazing and it's fantastic, or like televisions, but they don't always think about phones. And the Xperia 1 is probably a reason why you should start thinking about it, because it's got a 21:9 display. It's got the cinema wide display, which is fantastic, especially for somebody like me. It gets my thumbs out of the way. And for a game like Clash of Clans, it's fantastic because it gives you more screen real estate, as well as having a super powerful processor, 60 frames per second, no matter what game you're playing. It's got a 4K OLED display. It's got a really long battery. This phone's been on for a while, guys, and it's still looking good, which is fantastic. And also, we are able to send you guys over phones, Echo, Carbon, I know, and you guys have got a chance to use it as well. Echo, what have your been impressions so far with the phone?
You know, there's a lot of things I like about this phone, but the screen, the 4K OLED display, has to be one of my favorite. It just looks beautiful. You can literally see every pixel when you're playing the game. It's just a really nice looking picture that you don't see on all the phones nowadays. So it's probably my favorite feature.
Yeah, and the really nice thing also about the phone is the wide screen that you can see. You can see from end to end, especially if you're playing Clash there. You can see any of those troll Teslas, but it's really wide and you get to see the whole angle, which is really, really nice that a lot of phones that don't have.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you know, it's sort of when we're playing a game like Clash of Clans on a phone versus something like a tablet, this definitely gives you that competitive advantage, just having that 21:9 display. So thank you so much to Xperia for joining us here as our official mobile partner. And thank you guys so much for helping to break down that last matchup. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys for now. We'll be joining us for our final game of the day. Before we go, I'd, of course, need to remind everybody once again to hit that !social in the chat. Go give the Twitter account a follow if you are a fan of everything ESL Mobile Open. If you're a fan of Clash of Clans, that's the place to keep all up to date, all appraised of things Clash of Clans, esports, whether it be here, the Mobile Open, the World Championships, all that good stuff. So !social in the chat. We'll be back right after this next break with our final war of the day. Who's going to be the first team going home? Find out.